Guys, good afternoon. This is Farouk with Elite Property Development here in beautiful South Carolina. Just wanted to, like I promised you guys, go ahead and start the three-step videos for new flippers to let you guys know basically what's the best way to start flipping houses. And I will teach you for what I learned. I've been doing it for 5, 6 years. I've done over 20 properties. I made some mistakes, so it's always good to learn from people who made mistakes so you don't make that mistake, because sometimes they can be costly. So the first thing I will tell you guys is, don't listen to these guys and I turn on YouTube or whatever, and there's ads or whatever, say, oh, I made $1 million in 1 year, or I made 100,000 on the property or whatever. If they did, great. The only way you can make that kind of money if you hit the lottery, and I haven't yet in my life. So whatever I make is basically I earn it, and I think you guys are the same way too. We're simple people. We don't have that much money, so we have to be down to earth. Now, can you make that much money? Sure. I mean, look at people, they're successful, but it took them a long time to do that. So, we just want to make sure that we keep it real. And, we just need to make sure that, hey, we know exactly what our finances are. So anyway, having said that, so the first thing that you have to know, especially if you're going to buy a property, you're going to start flipping, is, okay, do you have money? If you have cash, great, no problem. Go buy the property with cash, because that's the only way you're going to be able to nowadays buy a property. You can't just go and bid on a property and say, oh, by the way, I'm going to go to the bank and get a loan. That's not going to work. People like cash offers, so you can close within 2 or 3 weeks, and that way you can get bang for your buck. So basically, main thing is cash. Okay, if you have cash, like I said, that's great. If not, the next one is the easiest way. If you have a house and you have a home equity loan, which is called HELOC, if you have that, get some money from there, because the interest rate on it is really low, and you can always pay that once you sell the house. So that's another thing. Now after that, it gets a little bit harder if you don't have money. So next one is hard money, because regular bank is not going to loan you money on a property that needs a rehab and everything. So hard money lenders don't really care. They'll loan you money on the rehab, they'll loan you money on the purchase, all the way up to 80%. But you have to build a rapport with them. So initially it's a little bit tougher because you don't have any experience. But once you build a rapport with them and you have experience, you'll see that things get a lot easier. The interest rate get a lot easier. And like I said, they will finance your property all the way up to 80%, and then they'll give you money for the rehab too. So that works out really good. So that's another one. Now you have some local ones. When I first started, I just Googled local ones and I called them. Of course, their interest rate is a little bit higher than if you can find from national companies that they do that. So do your due diligence and make sure you pick the right one, to make sure, because there are some people out there, they're deceiving, and they're not going to tell you everything till later on, and you say, well, it's costing me too much. So just make sure. So anyway, so those two things. And then the third thing is, which I've been pretty successful, is find some investors. Find people who have money laying around. Of course, you're not making any money by money sitting in the bank, because their interest rates are banks are not paying you any interest on it. So, you talk those people, say, hey, I'm going to invest this money for you. This is the return you're going to have, for doing nothing. They don't have to go do anything. You do all the work. I have 2 investors I work with right now. We buy houses. They invest all the money. I do the work. I go do all the rehab and everything, and when we finish, they take 70%, I make 30% for no investment of mine, but I put a lot of work in it, and they're happy with that. So find those people. You don't have to do it that way, or find investors who are willing to invest money with you. So once you do that, you've gotten all that together, you know exactly how much you're going to have. Is it going to be 100, 200, whatever? Now you've got the point where okay, I'm able to buy a property for 200. But keep in mind, you're not going to go get a property for 200, because if that's all the money you have. You need the money for the rehab and all the other stuff, because all the properties we buy, they're sight unseen. So keep in mind. Now, if you're able to see the property inside and take your contractor and do your due diligence to see how much it's going to cost you, that's great. But that doesn't happen anymore, especially when you go to the county auctions or other auction companies. Basically, it's sight unseen, and you just have to take that chance to see what it's going to be. With experience, you'll know, hey, how much it's going to cost. You're going to be able to go out and look at the property from outside and see if it needs a roof, HVAC, or whatever. So those are things that you can check. So main thing on the first lesson I want to teach you guys is get your finances right. So once you have your finances, okay, this is how much I have, this is what I'm going to get from hard money, or this is how much I'm going to get from investors. Now I can go ahead and see where I can go and what kind of property I can buy. So get all that together, and next time I talk to you guys, we're going to talk about how to find properties, and that'll be the next chapter. So hopefully if you enjoy my video, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel, and I really appreciate you guys listening to me.